is what they call toxic. You know, we shouldn't be called toxic for our instincts and for.
I think Kendrick is up. I think, you know, he's landed the more hard and effective punches, so to speak. But that don't mean Kendrick.
People are sick of it. They're sick of social things like that are controversial getting stuffed into your face and where you have to accept it.
Yeah.
Today, we're diving into a hot topic that's stirring up the cultural conversation. Ice Cube's bold stance against woke culture and its impact on America. From social media to mainstream media, the debate is heating up. Ice Cube has taken a stand, and he's not holding back. But what does this mean for our society? Is woke culture truly destroying the fabric of America, or is there more to the story? Stick around as we break down Ice Cube's arguments, the reactions from various sides, and what it all means for the future. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell icon to stay updated with our latest content.
Do you think that it's harder to be a man in America now than it was when you were a kid?
Yes. Saying what you feel, being yourself, is what they call toxic.
You probably do need a third candidate. You probably do need the people to show that these both parties that America deals with, Republican Party, Democratic Party, to really show them that we don't have to.
Ice Cube received heavy criticism following his interview with Tucker Carlson, in which they covered various subjects, from politics to social justice movements. Filmed during a car ride through Ice Cube's former neighborhood in South Central Los Angeles, the interview outraged many fans who accused him of siding with a controversial figure associated with far-right beliefs. Ice Cube was branded a sellout by critics who claimed that appearing alongside Carlson clashed with his established image as a rebellious, anti-establishment figure. In response, the rapper defended his choice, stating that his mistrust of politicians drives him to engage with anyone, regardless of political stance, if it means advocating for his community.
Looking for my damn self, and just trying to figure out why we continue to, flounder at the bottom.
Ice Cube's frequent public engagements with conservative figures like Tucker Carlson have been viewed by some as a direct challenge to the so-called gatekeepers in the entertainment and media industries.
What club am I talking about? I'm talking about the club of gatekeepers that we all got to deal with. You know who they are, and
During these interviews, he has expressed his frustration with Hollywood's power structure and the political left's influence over public dialogue. On the Joe Rogan Experience, Ice Cube criticized companies he believed exploit woke culture for profit without affecting real change. He argued that these corporations were hypocritical, with their performative actions failing to benefit society. This stance has sparked significant backlash against him.
We're sick of it. They're sick of social things like that are controversial getting stuffed into your face and where you have to accept it.
Yeah.
And people are like, I don't want to accept it. It's just like, I'm just coming here for
In his interview with Tucker Carlson, Ice Cube has touched on transgender issues, igniting additional controversy. Although he did not explore the topic in depth, his comments were seen by some as dismissive or critical of the LGBTQ+ community, intensifying the backlash he faced.
I mean, why can't we be ourselves? We were born this way too.
So there are some groups, like if I say I'm trans, and people say that's great, you were born that way, we affirm you. But if you say I'm just a dude with male instincts, you're not affirmed, you're attacked.
Yeah, I mean, everybody doesn't really have to affirm you. If I wake up and say, I feel like a pigeon.
Ice Cube's remarks during interviews with Carlson and Rogan have notably angered the alphabet community and progressive political circles. His statements were perceived as aligning with right-wing viewpoints, leading to criticism from groups that previously viewed him as an ally.
Do you think that it's harder to be a man in America now than it was when you were a kid?
Yes. Saying what you feel, being yourself, is is what
Ice Cube also alleged that Oprah Winfrey canceled him by denying him a platform because of his outspoken views. He voiced frustration over what he sees as gatekeeping by powerful media figures. These comments fit into a broader narrative he's promoted, claiming that his independent perspectives have resulted in exclusion from mainstream platforms dominated by liberals. Although Ice Cube has explicitly stated his lack of support for Donald Trump, his criticisms of the American political system have led some to think he's leaning towards right-wing ideologies. He has advocated for a third-party candidate and criticized both major political parties, contending that they have failed to represent the people's interests.
Rich white guy, how can he relate? And he's always been rich. And, being rich don't make you bad. I ain't saying that, but I'm just saying, how can he relate?
Right. You feel like that?
I'm still mad he took down the USFL. I think that was a cool league,
right,
especially for the summer. But
Ice Cube was open to engaging with both the Trump and Biden administrations, saying, I had one guy in the administration, but it didn't go anywhere. It was basically a take my temperature kind of call. We'll get to it, but they never got to it or never planned to. As a matter of fact, the guy left the administration. So, after talking to him for a year or so, he was gone. And then, we were left with no one there.
That's the only way was willing to speak to the Trump administration, and I was willing to speak with the Biden administration as well,
Have you?
One guy in the administration, but it didn't go in.
In an interview, Ice stated, "You probably do need a third candidate. You probably do need the people to show that to both of these parties, that America deals with Republican Party, Democrat Party, to really show them that we don't have to take what you dish. I just feel like the people could really take a stand, Polarization is the winning formula for the status quo."
You probably do need a third candidate. You probably do need the people to show that these both parties that America deals with, Republican Party, Democratic Party, to really show them that we don't have to take what you.
This stance has put him at odds with Democrats who believe his rhetoric undermines efforts to counter conservative politics. Ice Cube's refusal to back either major party has been seen by some as a principled stand, but criticized by others as irresponsible given today's polarized climate. On Joe Rogan's podcast, Ice Cube addressed the corruption he sees in the American political system, criticizing how money and influence shapes policies. This criticism resonates with those disillusioned by mainstream politics. However, his appearance on Rogan's show, known for featuring controversial figures, has led some to accuse him of aligning with problematic voices. Ice Cube's contract with Black America was a proposal for economic and social reforms designed to empower Black communities. Although the initiative garnered some support, it also faced criticism, particularly after Cube met with the Trump administration to discuss it.
Everybody's been mad at me because I haven't been on the fucking, the gravy train of these candidates.
Ice Cube recently released a video addressing the controversy surrounding him. He revealed that he faced significant backlash from both Democratic supporters and members of the Democratic Party. His contract with Black America drew criticism from various fronts, including left-wing critics and those he describes as left-wing white supremacists. Did Biden speak with Ice Cube? No. Instead, Kamala Harris participated in a group online meeting with Black community members, including Ice Cube. He left the meeting early, feeling that the discussion was not a priority for them. Ice Cube did engage with Donald Trump, and they had a discussion about the contract with Black America. Notably, some aspects of the contract were included in Trump's Platinum Plan. Ice Cube has been outspoken against certain trends in modern hip-hop, targeting artists like Kendrick Lamar and Drake. He has condemned the glorification of mistreatment and its harmful impact on young fans, cautioning that industry conflicts can lead to real-world harshness. While some see his critique as valid, it has alienated fans of these artists and ignited debates about generational divides within hip-hop culture. Ice Cube's recent appearance on the PBD podcast has intensified the criticism he's been facing. He spoke about how Black rappers often struggle to control their own stories in Hollywood. Reflecting on past events, Ice Cube mentioned how he had shared his frustrations on Instagram, which garnered significant attention. He expressed frustration with mainstream media and discussed his move to alternative platforms like Joe Rogan, Tucker Carlson, and Bill Maher. He also noted that mainstream outlets and prominent figures like Oprah had been reluctant to support him, which he attributed to his outspoken nature and business endeavors. His candid remarks about being blacklisted by certain Hollywood figures and media personalities such as Oprah intensified the perception that Ice Cube feels marginalized by the industry he helped shape. In 2023, Ice Cube criticized cancel culture, arguing that it discourages people rather than encourages them to speak out. He voiced his disapproval of cancel culture during an interview with Piers Morgan. Cancel culture is a toxic force that has infected society and, like any illness, needs to be eradicated and destroyed. Sadly, many are too afraid to oppose it, fearing the repercussions from the woke mob. However, those who do stand up receive significant support. Each new voice that joins the fight strengthens the movement against cancel culture. Now you can add the famous rap star to the growing list. Ice Cube doesn't support cancel culture. People are very polarized in all kinds of ways. People are afraid to speak out because of the cancel culture that we have today. So I just think people are afraid, and they're running to their corners, he said during an appearance on Piers Morgan, Uncensored. The popular rapper also thinks people are scared to speak out because cancel culture rarely stops with just one person. It does because it makes not only the person that's getting canceled, they're trying to shut them up, but anybody watching nowadays shut up, because they say if it can happen to this guy, it can happen to me. The former NWA star explained. He further added, so by smashing somebody who says something that you might not like and canceling them, it actually reverberates throughout the whole community, and everybody is now watching what they say all the time. The woke mob and the movement to cancel people must be crushed. Kudos to Ice Cube for taking a stand against the woke mob. It's great to see. As mentioned earlier, there's strength in numbers, and the more voices speaking out against cancel culture, the better. There was once a time when grace, mercy, forgiveness, and understanding were common traits, and people recognized that mistakes happen. Nowadays, however, a single error can lead to your life being upended. Cancel culture and the woke mob are quick to pounce, and it can be over in an instant. Just look at what happened to former Barstool employee Ben Mintz. He was dismissed for rapping a song and accidentally reading lyrics that included a racial slur, a clear mistake. Instead of recognizing it as such and moving on, Mintz was fired by Penn. This is cancel culture at its worst. We need to return to a time when we are understood that people make mistakes without ruining their lives. Lives shouldn't be destroyed over minor disagreements. That's the most troubling aspect of cancel culture. It targets individuals for holding certain opinions, supporting particular politicians, or using the wrong pronouns. It's truly insane. Last time I checked, we're still in America, and we need to start acting like it. In 2020, Ice Cube stirred up controversy by tweeting that the Trump campaign had adjusted their plan for Black America after speaking with him. He was referencing his contract with Black America, which includes a preface by Derek Hamilton, a highly respected Black economist. The contract outlines a blueprint to achieve racial and economic justice through policies promoting wealth creation, home ownership, small businesses, criminal justice reform, and voting rights. Some elements of the contract are mirrored in what the Trump administration has called its Platinum Plan, aimed at appealing to Black voters during the election.
What do you think of that Trump mugshot today?
It really don't matter. It don't do nothing for me.
Because isn't the idea of a mugshot so sort of emblematic that when it applies to a politician, it's a big deal, isn't it?
Is it? Doesn't seem like it.
Doesn't?
No. It don't seem like a big deal at all. Yeah, a thirsty man to take a...
Ice Cube's perceived alignment with Trump's anti-Black political agenda sparked outrage and confusion on Black Twitter. In response, Cube positioned himself as a political maverick unafraid to challenge conventional views. During an interview with CNN's Chris Cuomo, he stated his willingness to collaborate with people from both political parties. I'm done with these political games. We're not part of any team. So I'm going to whoever holds power to discuss our issues specifically, Cube explained, emphasizing that our refers to Black Americans. I'm not going there talking about minorities. I'm not going there talking about people of color or diversity or none of that stuff. I'm going there for Black Americans, the ones who are descendants of slaves. Although he denounced Trump in 2016, Cube's recent political stance has been shaped by his desire for change, regardless of political party. The issue with this stance is that it suggests both major parties are interchangeable for Black Americans, which is not accurate. Despite its flaws, the modern Democratic Party, for better or worse, remains the party of anti-racism and intersectional justice, unlike the current GOP. The Republican Party has increasingly become a haven for those promoting racial division, scapegoating, and hatred, evolving from the subtle dog whistles of the Nixon era to the overt rhetoric of President Trump and his supporters.
He looks like a boss to everybody, and Americans love to have a boss. So, that's his appeal to me. Do I think he's going to do anything to help poor people or people that's struggling? No, because, he's rich white guy. How can he relate? And he's all.
Rapper 50 Cent took it a step further by publicly announcing his intention to vote for Trump after previously criticizing him. Apparently reacting to Joe Biden's tax plan, 50 Cent posted on social media, "I don't care. Trump doesn't like black people." The troubling history Ice Cube evokes. Beyond 50 Cent's rhetoric, there's a troubling and gendered aspect to his endorsement of Trump and Ice Cube's seemingly pox on both houses stance. Both positions not only overlook the overtly racist language, strategies, and policies championed by Trump and his administration, endorsed or enabled by many of his allies, but also ignore the steadfast support black women have given to Democratic candidates. More critically, these views fail to acknowledge that some of the most influential and promising black leaders in America are women. Take, for instance, Ayanna Pressley in Massachusetts, congressional candidate Cori Bush in Missouri, and former gubernatorial candidate Stacey Abrams in Georgia. Their work has been crucial in shaping a new black political agenda that prioritizes the most marginalized segments of the African American community. If Cube, or 50 Cent for that matter, truly wanted to advance progress for black Americans, he could support these progressive black women who are striving to fundamentally transform American democracy. Many black men are understandably horrified by Cube's openness to Trump and 50 Cent's outright endorsement of him. However, Ice Cube's apparent disregard for black women in his quest to be seen as a changemaker seems like a form of deliberate blindness. This issue is further complicated by the fact that Cube is not the first prominent black male political or cultural figure to attempt negotiations with racist politicians for those perceived as supporting anti-black policies. This approach has deep historical roots.
So we just got to talk. That's the only way was willing to speak to the Trump administration, and I was willing to speak with the Biden administration as well,
Have you?
Who gets erased by a both sides approach? Ice Cube's support for a racially just America is definitely important and worth noting. His contract with Black America has some solid policy ideas that could improve wealth, economic justice, voting rights, and reduce police punishment for millions of African Americans. However, while he tries to balance his views between Democrats and Republicans on racial justice, his overall plan doesn't match the more radical proposals from a movement for Black lives. This year's racial reckoning has shown how influential black women leaders and organizers are presenting one of the most ambitious visions of black freedom ever seen. Black Lives Matter, led mainly by radical black and queer feminists, offers a broader vision of liberation compared to what Ice Cube promotes. Black Lives Matter's decentralized leadership has urged black activists, organizers, and everyday people to highlight the stories of the most marginalized within the black community. LGBTQIA individuals, those with mental and emotional health issues, people with disabilities, those living with HIV, the financially struggling, the unhoused, the undocumented, they focus on the experiences of those whom the Trump administration would rather disempower, demonize, or overlook.
Being rich don't make you bad. I ain't saying that, but I'm just saying, how can he relate? Right. How can he relate to the small guy?
The challenge Ice Cube and others cannot deny. Ice Cube's intense image from his early albums, America's Most Wanted and Death Certificate, powerfully captures the real pain black men face, shown by their high rates of imprisonment, punishment, and demise. Black women experience just as much pain, with rising incarceration rates, high poverty levels, and low income and wealth. In this crucial time of racial and political reckoning, black men need to step up and embrace a new kind of leadership. This leadership should reflect the broader struggle for black freedom and include the diverse experiences and challenges faced by all black people. The broader movement for change has never been led mainly by black men. Black feminists, from Ida B. Wells's fight against lynching to the founders of BLM, have broadened the vision of American democracy. Black queer activists like Bayard Rustin, Audre Lorde, James Baldwin, and Barbara Smith have pushed the boundaries of what it means to be black, challenging white supremacy, systemic racism, patriarchy, and homophobia and transphobia within the black community. While Malcolm X and Martin Luther King Jr. are key figures, they are joined by others like Wells, Anna Julia Cooper, Lorraine Hansberry, Angela Davis, and many more. Today's black women thinkers and activists such as Patrisse Cullors, Brittany Cooper, Keeanga-Yamahtta Taylor, Michelle Alexander, Keisha N. Blaine, Imani Perry, Tressie McMillan Cottom, Martha Jones, and Roxane Gay have created groundbreaking work. Reading their writings would benefit Ice Cube and all Americans, offering fresh, challenging, and inspiring visions of a liberated future, grounded in deep humility, sincerity, and political integrity, qualities that would never align with Donald Trump's agenda. But what do you think about all this? Let us know in the comments. That's all for today. We hope you enjoyed that video, and if you did, make sure to hit like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell for more videos like this.